So we need to talk about Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I did you know that they were gonna unveil a new cover? Nobody did. I didn't think they did.
Nobody did. They obviously started with their countdown. That they had a countdown from 100 hours down to, once that countdown hit 0, it started to count back up again. So that was their troll thing. But there was clues in regards to it, like dropping it down to 0 and then counting up again, and the new album called From Zero. And the original name for Linkin Park was Zero with an X. So when the band formed in 1998, originally, without Chester Bennington at the time, they released an EP under the name of Zero with an X. So sort of like clues pointing in that direction, but nothing in regards to a new drummer and a new singer.
So the first I knew, I went on Facebook and somebody was talking about this live stream that had happened, and I'm like, what? And then I saw that they'd mentioned Emily's name. I'm like, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'm like, really, a woman vocalist? Okay, that's unusual. I don't know why it's unusual, but for some reason it's like, oh, it's a different direction. And then I hadn't watched the live stream. Annette was out. She came back from wherever she'd been to. I knew it was on YouTube, and I thought, I'm going to sit down and watch. I want to see how good she is, and it'd be nice to hear Linkin Park again. And I put it on, and I sat down, and Annette's like, what are we watching? I said, just let me find Linkin Park. She's like, oh, have they brought some new stuff out? I went, kind of, yeah, I think so. I don't know. But they've done a live stream where they announced the new vocalist. And she went, ooh. I'm like, no, come on. Give her a chance. And she went, huh? And I'm like, well, we'll see how she does. And it took me probably 30, 40 seconds. I'm like, I'm in. For me, it was working. I think she's really, really good. And obviously, we know how the internet works.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, the internet hasn't been brutal.
They started off them not being brutal, and then obviously digging into Emily's past.
Yeah.
And that's when the brutal nature became apparent, without people actually putting context behind it and actually piecing every single piece of the jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Because the thing with her past is they only saw 2 headlines, and the fact that she supposedly is a Scientologist and supports Danny Masterson.
Yeah.
And so that was it. They saw those 2 things, Danny Masterson, which is a well-known case, happened a couple of years ago in America, and the word Scientology. And they put 2 and 2 together and just went, she's an evil bitch, to put it nicely.
Yeah.
When in fact, if they actually dug down a little bit deeper and read the backstory and behind the things behind it, then they would have realized, actually, it's nowhere near as bad as people are making it out to be.
Yeah. But people don't read. There's very few people read into the actual stories. You look at the headlines and go, that's it. That's fact. Let's get them. But generally, I think they were being quite nice. I saw some people who were like, no, Linkin Park is not Linkin Park without Chester Bennington. No, nobody can replace him. We're not trying to replace him. They're bringing in a new co-vocalist. Because I felt really bad at the time, and I was shocked how many years it was since Chester died.
Yeah.
I didn't think it. I thought, well, maybe it's like 4 or 5 or something. 7 years. And I remember at the time, and it happens quite often when a member of a band passes away, you go, well, I wonder what's going to happen to the band. It's a natural question. Go, are they going to stop? Are they going to replace them? Are they going to come back? And with Linkin Park, I think it's one of those. It's like Queen with Freddie Mercury. It's like In Excess with Michael Hutchins. It would be like U2 if they lost Bono. Because the vocalist is such a showman and so unique, you go, well, how can the band carry on with a different person? But I always wanted them to, because it's like, well, they got to work. They enjoy what they do. They love making music. I kind of want them to go back and start making music again. So when this live stream happened and I watched it, I loved it. And the 2 takeaways that I got were, it was great to hear Linkin Park songs again, the new one and the previous stuff, but also the smile on Mike's face when he was on stage performing. He looked so damn happy to be back on stage with old bandmates and new bandmates playing music. And it was like, how can the internet, well, I've bought some albums, I've seen you on tour a couple of times, so therefore I've got a say in what you guys do with your band. No, you don't. And that includes me and you. You know, I've spent a fortune on Linkin Park albums, and I've seen them twice. And it's like, just, it's their band. They want to bring Emily in, do it. But I thought she was really good. What was your thoughts?
These are the idiots, though, that badmouthed Linkin Park's last album, One More Light. Before Chester obviously passed away, people badmouthed it to say that it wasn't Linkin Park, because they were just too hung up on the Hybrid Theory Meteora side of Linkin Park and didn't look at anything else that Linkin Park actually did. They didn't look at stuff like The Hunting Party. They didn't even look at stuff like Reanimation, which was sort of like a remix of the first two albums. And so they didn't look at that. They were just more used to the Crawlings and the One Step Closers and things like that, rather than the later stuff. And then once One More Light came out, they went, this is just too pop. And so they ignored Linkin Park and badmouthed them. And then they think 7 years later, when they come back, they can badmouth them again, saying, this is not my Linkin Park. But Linkin Park in 2017 then technically wasn't your Linkin Park, because you hated that album. Whereas me, you can sort of like see a song as bad, or you can say that you don't like an album from their oeuvre. But stick with the band, and I stuck with the band. I really liked One More Light anyway when it came out. I didn't badmouth it. I thought this is a really personal, interesting album. There's stories to be told, and there is pain to be sort of like thrown out there. This is the cry that Chester wanted to do, because I knew about his past anyway, the alcoholic he became, the self-abusive person he became to himself, and which he hated himself. And fans of the band would have known that, considering he was like that after Meteora released. And so he was always a troubled soul. And so One More Light was that album, I think, in a way, if Chester didn't commit suicide, because I think the last straw was the death of Chris Cornell, which happened a month prior to Chester passing away. That was the last little bit for Chester, especially when he went on, I think it was the Tonight Show in America, and he sang One More Light live for the first time, and how he broke down when he near to the end of the song. You could definitely tell something was up. And then obviously him passing away a month later. But if he had still been alive today, I think the Linkin Park now would have probably been more like the Linkin Park of the early days, the 2000s, because I think they needed to release an album like that, like the album in 2016 of One More Light. They needed to do that. That was Chester's cry for help. Then it probably would have given them time for him to get that help, and then being able to actually release something with a lot more energy behind it. And I sort of like pat them on the back for coming back, because the way they said it is, the band was called Zero before they actually became Hybrid Theory, was what they wanted to call themselves, but they couldn't call themselves Hybrid Theory because there was a band already called Hybrid Theory. So they called themselves Linkin Park, named after a park very close by to where their studio originally was when there was Zero. So there was that, and Zero was their start. The EP, it's not very good if you've heard the EP, but it's sort of like you can see little kernels of ideas that became Linkin Park. Then Chester joined, and that was a completely brand new start. And then now when they did this live stream for the hour, and then the interview with Zian Lowe that they did as well, they went, this is a new start as well, hence why the album's called From Zero, because it's them looking all the way back to when they were called Zero with an X. It's them from that time starting afresh with two new members, Emily Armstrong, and I can't remember the name of the drummer.
So Colin somebody or other. I've forgotten Colin's surname, but yeah, he's the new one, isn't he?
And then the guitarist, Brad, he's not actually going on tour with them. It is going to be the guitarist who we saw in the live stream. He's going to be on tour. So it's their fresh start that they want to start from zero. They want to bring the elements of Linkin Park, but they want to bring elements of what Emily Armstrong can do from her time in Dead Sarah, whether she goes back to that band and uses it as a side thing like Chester did. With a few bands,
Dead by Sunrise. He had one.
It was also in another band as well, and what Mike Shinoda did with Fort Minor, and actually did his side stuff. What Mr. Hand did with his directorial stuff that he did a film. He also directed all of their videos as well. And so they're going to bring that element to that. They're going to use what Emily Armstrong has done from the Dead Zara days. Sort of like ignore her past, because that stuff with Danny Masterson, if you read into it, like I said, it was just one time when she was at the courtroom, she found out what he actually did and completely distanced herself from that. With the Scientology side, she came out as gay about 4 or 5 years ago, and people, or you should already know that you cannot be gay and a Scientologist. They do not agree with that, worse so than the Bible. She distanced herself away from Scientology as well. So that stuff there, that's in the past. It hasn't happened anymore. As a matter of fact, she's been badmouthed so badly for the fact that she's attached with the Danny Masterson person. Why wasn't Ashton Kutcher? Why wasn't Mila Kunis?
They were at the time, weren't they? I remember Ashton and Mila coming out going, oh, Danny would never, and they did the character defenses and stuff like that. And then as soon as the guilty verdict, Ashton and Kunis went, oh, okay, we'll take back what we said, which is what Emily did as well.
She distanced herself away from him even before that guilty verdict came out, because once the trial started, she went, well, I've only been at the courtroom once. That's it. He was a friend, but once I found out exactly what he did, then it happens to everybody. You find something out about a friend, you're either going to stick with them, and unfortunately it's going to be negative on you, or completely distance yourself away from them. She did that. She distanced herself away from him and concentrated on our music with Dead Zara, which they're actually, if you've listened to them, they sound very much similar to like the Pretty Reckless, Hailstorm in that area there. And I love Hailstorm, and the Pretty Reckless is a really good band as well. She's got a very good voice in Dead Zara. And so I welcome it. It's a nice start. I'm a huge Linkin Park fan because they are my favourite band. And it'll probably I won't get a chance to see them on this tour. Annoyingly, their date in London is a day before my birthday. But I won't get to see them on this tour because of the problems that I've got currently at the moment. But it's given me hope that once the new album drops on November the 15th from Zero, they'll tour next year. This is just sort of like them getting back to that tour thing. And hopefully it means that they're going to be at next year's Download Festival.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I go to Download every single year anyway, whether they're going to be there or not. And I'm going to be there next year anyway. So if it is, it's icing on the cake for me. So I welcome it. And the new song, I really like the new song.
Same.
The Emptiness Machine. It's a really good track because it's got elements of old Linkin Park. It's got elements of Dead Zara, and it's a catchy song.
So what was your take on the live stream then? Let's say thumbs up.
Very much so, yeah. There were elements and times where her voice sort of like waned a little bit, but you've got to give her the benefit of the doubt because it's the first time she sang live like that in front of an audience with Linkin Park, because they've been concentrating on the album for like that's 9 months. And so the nerves will kick in. The nerves will majorly kick in, but it gives her the chance to sort of like get her feet in there, know how it actually works, find which songs she can actually definitely do. Giving Up is probably going to be their hardest song because of the 17-second scream, and I don't think she'll be able to actually do that. There are going to be other songs which is going to be very hard to do, but we'll see. We'll see what they're like live, properly live, once she's actually getting her feet into it. And let's see what these songs are like, because it's 11 tracks on the new album. I've seen the album listing, so let's see what these songs are like. Let's see what mixtures and stuff they can actually do with it. People might hate it currently at the moment, hate the idea, but once they listen to the album, they might turn around and go, oh, this is amazing. So we'll see.
I was instantly in. I'm like, wow, because she's her own vocalist, but it also sounded like Linkin Park, but it didn't sound like she was doing a Chester Bennington impression. It was her, very reminiscent of the Linkin that I'm used to. And I've listened to it a few times. I've got it on my iPod now, the live stream, and I've listened to it a few times. And you can hear her voice blow out sometimes, but it's far better than I could. Because those were just one song after the next. Like you said, it's the first time she's performing. The nerves, I can't imagine what the nerves would be like, because people are like, you can't replace Chester Bennington. There's that whole craziness. It's going out across the internet. I mean, you look at how many people have watched it. Millions of people watched that. So
the new song was on like 7.7 million listens on YouTube alone within the first 24 hours. That's YouTube alone. It doesn't sound very much, 7.7 million, but that's within the first 24 hours on one platform. And YouTube's not the biggest music platform. That's obviously Spotify. So yeah, just give them a chance. Just give them a chance.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like, let the band record. If you buy the album or you listen to the album or you stream it and you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to go bad mouth it. Just go, you know what, it's not for me. I was the same with Queen. I like the early Queen stuff, or like mid-80s Queen stuff. I'm not a fan of Queen with Adam. I forgot his name now. Oh, yeah, I'm not a fan of him. So therefore, I just go, okay, it's fine. I'll just stick to my old Queen stuff. It's fine. I do like when In Excess had JD Fortune. I like that album, and I like the old In Excess. It's not about replacing a singer. It's about the band carrying on to record. I don't think they sound too different.
Yeah, and they're not completely getting rid of their entire back catalogue and just going, we're going to completely start from scratch. If you like Linkin Park from the noughties up to One More Light, you've still got that Linkin Park there. In that case there, don't listen to this new Linkin Park. Yeah, they've got the same name and some of the same members, but don't listen to them then if that's the case. You've got your stuff there. Go back and listen to it. We're not deleting it. No. We're keeping all of that stuff there. A lot of people were going, oh, well, we could have gotten the lead singer from the Linkin Park tribute act or somebody who sounds like Chester. I would have thought that would have been a hell of a lot worse to do that. Yeah, it would. Like there is a singer who sounds a hell of a lot like Freddie Mercury. He sang in front of Celine Dion and people like that. And you think, well, he would be a better replacement for Adam Lambert for Queen. That's not what the route that they wanted to go down. Ultimately, it's the band's decision. Screw you. Yes, you're the ones who buy the albums. This listener on Spotify is not going to actually tarnish what Mike Shinoda thinks, because they get very little monetary money from it anyway. They get most of their money now from merch and stuff like that. But you're always going to have people who want to listen to them, and the people who want to give that band a chance are probably the more diehard fans and these absolute idiots who are just bad-mouthing them because they found two little small news stories there about a couple of things that Emily did in the past and haven't even given more than one song a chance. So stop your moaning, just listen to them. And if you don't like the new stuff, you've still got the old stuff.
Just because you buy some CDs and concert tickets doesn't give you ownership over what a band does. I'm really, really happy that they're back working again and bringing out music. Very happy.
See, if I'm being honest, I would say that it wasn't on my bingo card for 2024, but I heard mutterings and murmurings that something was happening as early as March this year. Because I heard mutterings and murmurings that they were going to tour next year under what's known as the Linkin Park Experience or something like that. And they were going to do something very similar to where they bring on guest vocalists to do a couple of songs, and then they bring on another guest vocalist to do another couple of songs. So that was what I heard. So there was mutterings and murmurings as early this year that they were coming back. So I sort of like, it was tentatively written in pencil on my bingo card, which could easily be rubbed out, and me going, oh no, I didn't include it.
I didn't do
it. It was on my bingo card of sorts, but I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. Like new lead singer or new co-singer, new drummer, new guitarist, new single, new album.
Tour.
Not a world tour, because they're going to 6 countries and that's pretty much it. But it's sort of like them opening the door a little bit and then fully burst out in 2025.
Yeah, and I watched the stage design was amazing. I was well impressed with that stage design. That looked like something, some sort of sci-fi or Matrix or Tron Legacy or something. That went, that's very Tron-like. I'm like, kind of is. That was amazing. And then I watched the 1-hour interview that they did with Zayn the day after. And anybody who's like, they shouldn't have done this, they should have changed names, they shouldn't have come back, watch that interview. And then by the end of the interview, if you're not like, okay, I'll give him a chance, then, you have no soul. The one point where Mike says, we didn't know whether to come back because we didn't know if we had any fans left. It's kind of heartbreaking because I'm like, dude, of course you still have loads of fans left. But he genuinely didn't think they did.
He knew the fans were there when he actually introduced the band lineup. And then he said, playing in the role of Chester is you. It's pretty much everybody, because he knew that in their hearts, they're the Chester that they need, because people are going to be singing along to the songs. 100% guaranteed. I would even put every single penny that I've got to say that people are going to be singing along to their songs, because they are. Yeah. They definitely are. I love the fact that when a new song comes out from a band that's established band or something like that, you get people doing their own versions of the songs, and TikTok and YouTube blew up about an hour after that people already knew the song. And I'm thinking, that's a good sign. If people already know the song within an hour, then people are latching onto it. So, yeah, I guarantee people are going to be singing along to the song. So you're the Chester, and then Emily is the new co-vocalist alongside Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park, and that they're going to give us the new stuff, and she's going to do a good job of the old stuff as well. Yeah,
we watched the live stream. I'd listened to the live stream a couple of times on MP3 on my own. We watched the official video for the new single, and then I put it on this morning. So this was the third time that Annette has heard that song. And she was singing along to that song for the third time she'd ever heard it. She knew a lot of the lyrics and stuff. So it's definitely, it's a catchy one that people will hopefully grab onto. But yeah, that's probably my favorite news of the week, I think, is the whole Linkin Park. Been able to listen to them again, hearing Emily with her vocals. I can't even imagine how you get a voice to do all that. I'd probably blow it out in half a song. So fair play to her on that one. So I just wanted to start off with that and just cover it, and then we could start talking about movies and stuff like that in a minute. But I think we're both happy with Linkin Park.
Anything that Linkin Park will do, I'll be happy about, because as I said, they're always sort of like, even though I've got a Shikari tattoo, I need to sort out a couple of things first before I get any more tattoos, but I've always wanted a Linkin Park one. And so this will push me to get something Linkin Park related.
Yeah,